All right, everybody, welcome to an emergency Genesis Mindset episode. The SEC is slamming the hammer down yet again. So I'm just going to get straight into it today because there has been another major SEC case. This time is against Richard Hart, aka Richard Schuler of Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen and show what's happened here today. And I really wanted to talk about the mindset surrounding this and how this can apply to you. So as you can see, the SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with misappropriating millions of dollars of investor funds from unregistered crypto asset securities offerings that raised more than $1 billion. And so what they're actually suing him for is actually at least $12 million of offering proceeds. Now, Richard Hart has been very particular with his language surrounding this, and everybody who was in this community, myself included, we sacrificed. So there was always no expectation of profit. So he's used very specific language to basically bypass the Howey test, which is something that the SEC actually needs to, or which is something that the law needs to the Howey test is basically something that you need to pass in order to not be registered as to not be classified as a security, rather. So there's, I think, four classifications for it. And Richard Hart has been very particular. And even with Hex, it's always your own crypto. You're the one doing the mining or the minting or the staking, whatever you want to call it. So everybody who's in those communities is fully aware about how it works. And everybody who's in that community, well, the majority of people in that community probably don't even really care about how this affects the tokens. They're really, the majority of people are on that page that this is just the way that it is. And as you know, earlier in the year, SEC sued Coinbase and Binance, and then also they brought the hammer down on 10 cryptocurrencies. So there's also been the Ripple case, which has been going on for a long time. All these cases are very different. But then there was also these 10 cryptocurrencies, which pretty much, name your top 10, and this is what they went after. You had Binance USD, you had Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Cosmos, the Sandbox, Decentraland, Axie Infinity, and Cody. So really, I mean, take your top 10 from essentially your top 10, take out Ethereum and Bitcoin, and they've gone after just these. Now, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies. So this is the SEC really clutching at straws. So XRP has been deemed not a security, and the SEC will appeal that. But essentially, it really looks like they're clutching at straws. They're really trying to slow this cryptocurrency down because they really want to get the Fed coin out, basically the centralized digital currency, so they can have control of the financial system, the government. And so this is really what it's all about. It's a battle here with America, and America is the only one that's really on the forefront of this battle. And the reason is because America is the kings of the current financial system. New York is the center of the financial world, and America is the center of the financial system. They have been the kings ever since World War II. So the military industrial complex that they've really grown out of. And so basically, what's the mindset around this? So I'll admit, when I saw this, the Hex founder, I was deeply concerned. I have basically a majority of my funds in staking and just earning passive income in these protocols, Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex. So I was obviously very concerned. But then once I dug deeper, I read on Twitter and went into Twitter Spaces and started hearing what the community was saying. It's a very positive atmosphere. The community's really banded together. And so this is the kind of mindset that I wanted to actually emphasize today. Unity. The beauty of seeing the unity of this community in this troubling times is fantastic. Not to mention the beauty of actually seeing the unity of communities that are also banding together within the cryptocurrency community. Because I hate us versus them mentality, but essentially that's what this is. It's the old way, the old financial system versus this new financial system, the cryptocurrency system. My opinion is one day they'll just become amalgamated. They will also unify together and coexist together. They won't be considered as polar opposites at the moment, because there is a kind of battle between who dominates. It's like a power grab. It's like a Game of Thrones power grab. That's what's causing the issue at the moment. Now, if you are also worried about this, what can you do? So some of the things that I did basically was really start to familiarize myself with what the actual lawsuit is all about. So it's not even against Hex or Pulse Chain or PulseX. It's against Richard Heart. So it's not against those tokens specifically. There is no centralized authority which controls those tokens like there was for Ripple. So that's one thing. And thank you, Randy Hilarski. Randy, I love Randy. Randy is such a beautiful, sweet voice in the community, really generous guy, like connects with everybody. Love Randy. Randy pointed this out and I was, yep, fantastic. Thank you so much, Randy. Then really familiarize yourself with what's going on in Twitter. What's the sentiment on Twitter? And it's so positive. It's like really baffling, actually. I actually wanted to find the negative in this. So I even dug deeper and asked my friends, and even asked on a Twitter space, what do people think this could affect the price in the coming bull market? Because as you saw with XRP, the price was really suppressed in the sense that it didn't break out of its all-time highs. And so that's basically my concern with those, whether Pulse Chain and PulseX was going to be suppressed. But again, it's Richard Heart being sued, not the coins. Having said that, those coins had a massive dump, I think like 30 to 50% massive dump. So yes, it is an uncomfortable situation, but what is your overall plan? Is your plan to get out and de-risk? Is your plan basically where you only have a certain percentage in there, so it's okay, you're just going to let it sit there and let it ride, it doesn't matter what it does? Do you have a lot in there? If you've got a lot in there like me, it actually is more concerning, because it's like, well, it could all go to zero. But this was always the risk that I'd accepted in my plan. I ride it all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. There is no in between. That might be crazy, but that's the decision that I've made. And I look at this FUD as it's just more FUD. And I don't actually believe the SEC, I don't actually believe it's going to conclude into anything. Once you dig deeper and see, I mean, they're suing him and it's for $12 million and misappropriating funds. The guy was mining Bitcoin when it was less than $100, like getting 50 Bitcoin a block. He's not buying Louis Vuittons and Gucci's with the money from the sacrifices and Hex. It's honestly like he was already a millionaire, billionaire before any of this even started. So I think he's not even stupid enough to go and be spending the money from those funds publicly and rubbing it in people's faces like, look at this Rolex, look at this Ferrari. He's not that stupid, honestly. So what I'm hoping is Richard Heart is going to fight this, really for the sake of the whole community, not just the Pulse Chain community and Hex community, but for the sake of the cryptocurrency community. I think it's time to stand up, really stand up against these guys in the SEC, because I have no idea. I mean, there's things in here that Corey Costa, another guy, I love Corey Costa, mentioned basically that they're talking in here about having like Pulse Chain validators for 5 million Pulse Chain, whereas it's actually, I think, 32 or 33. So, their facts are so misconstrued and so incorrect that it just feels like clutching at straws. We have the Highest of Stakes documentary coming out, so people are saying this is fantastic publicity. So again, what's your mindset? Honestly, this sounds crazy, but my mindset is just delusional faith. I had a discussion with my friend, and it's just like we both think the outcome of this is not going to affect this in the long run. We're on the fence. I'm on the fence as to whether it could affect it in this coming bull market. That's my concern. I don't want it to. I want to actually make some good profits in this bull market. But in the long run, I think it's going to be nothing. It's going to be water under a bridge. It's going to equate to nothing. So, but I do want to make the most of this bull run. So on that, again, familiarize yourself. Go to Twitter. Corey Costa did a fantastic stream with ATB. Go check out that stream. Go hear what he had to say. Go hear what they had to say. Funding Jim pointed out that there was a very, very good conclusion to that. So I would strongly recommend checking that out. Your friend Somi, he's always your friend. He's always got your back. He also makes some fantastic points and adds the humor into it, which really just lightens the whole situation. So again, whatever your plan is, stick with it. If you have too much in there and you can't handle it, then just be prepared to sell. Just sell, honestly. And if it goes any lower, maybe on the off chance that this is all just FUD, you can buy back in some of your position lower. That's something that you could consider doing. It's something I have considered doing, but I really can't be bothered with that risk. So I'm just going to take it as it is. And I'm just going to basically listen to what I've listened to enough now. And that's it. I don't need to listen to any more. I just need to live my life. I just needed to hear enough information to basically see what can I do with my current situation? Do I need to take any action? And I've assessed I don't need to take any action. So just chill out. And I really hope Richard Hart goes to the SEC. I don't want him to pay a fine for this. I really want him to go and stick it to them because it's getting ridiculous now. So hopefully everyone's not stressing out too much. And if you are, you know what the solution is. Meditate. Take it easy, everyone.